May I be a little blunt with you today? What I'd like to do is to talk about inconvenient, obvious truth that far too few people are willing to admit and are willing to actually do something about. Let me just start this by saying this. Sometimes something's got to change. And I'm going to give a specific example. A while ago, I met with somebody in a church responsibility to talk about their personal finances. And when we sat down and ran the numbers, what we figured out was this person had a monthly income of $400 and expenses of $2,000. As you can tell, this person has a problem. This person is always struggling to figure out which bills to pay when, is always behind on most of their payments, is always just about to lose their house, lose their car, lose their whatever, because their situation is not sustainable. Now, may I suggest that for at least a few of the people who watch this, that may be the case with your business, where you're making a small fraction of what you're spending each month. Now, I understand that sometimes that happens in a business. It's happened in my own business, okay? But here's the part where I need to get really blunt with you. If that has been the case, where you've been spending significantly more than you're making for over a year, that this may not be the right path for you. You may not be a person who is psychologically and physiologically built for creating your own business. Because during that year, you've had many opportunities to fix it. And if you find yourself struggling to do the things necessary to fix it, it may not be right for you to be in this business. And I hate saying this because I realize that I'm in the dreams business. And I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. But at the same time, one of the things I've realized over the years is that not everyone is wired to do this kind of business, to lay everything out on the line and say, it's all up to me to bring in the income, and I'm going to do that. Some people just can't get themselves there. If you're one of those people and you just can't seem to be able to make this work, well, you may want to start evaluating, is this right for me? And I know that's tough, but I don't want to ruin you for the next 40 years, to eat up your entire retirement savings, to destroy your marriage, to destroy your relationships with your family, to destroy all kinds of things because you're unwilling to face where you really are. Now, at the very end of this, I'm going to give another option to deal with that. Okay, so stick with me. But if you are wired that way and it is the right path for you to continue down this road, and you know it is the right path for you to continue down this road, then something's got to change. So you've got to do a couple of things. First thing you've got to do is you got to cut expenses. So let's just use that example. You're making $400, you're spending $2,000 a month. Well, what can you cut? May I suggest the first place you turn is anything that bills you every month. Get rid of most of them. Here's what oftentimes happens, because I've seen a lot of people's books and I've seen things. They are in Kajabi or Kanaki or any of these other kinds of programs because someday they're going to need that capability. Right now, they haven't got anything there, but they got a good deal. And so every month they're forking out $300 for that, or ClickFunnels or something like that, month after month after month, but they're not using it. May I suggest that you cancel it now, because you can always buy it later when the revenue is there to support it. I know I'm saying hard things. Here's another thing that I see people doing all the time, and it's hard for me to say this because I sell these things: courses, memberships, coaching programs. If you're one of those people who buys 5 or 6 $2,000 courses a year and you're not making back $10,000 to $20,000 a year from those courses, you may want to just stop buying them. And certainly don't go and invest in a real high end that's costing you thousands of dollars a month to be in, even though it may sound exciting and may sound hopeful to you. Go start building some business and then go to those higher level businesses to increase. Here's another one: conferences. We all love to go to conferences, especially when they're free because you got it because of this. Remember, it's going to cost you $1,000 to get there and live in the hotel and eat while you're there. So even if it's a free event, it's going to cost you at least $1,000 plus that week that you're not working and creating revenue. And remember that virtually every time you go to one of those things, someone's trying to sell you something, and you're probably going to buy it because it's going to be a great deal. But right now, very frankly, you can't afford it. If you're making $400, spending $2,000 a month, and that's been continuing for a year or more, you can't afford to do these things anymore. Here's the way I like to look at these things. I view it that I have to earn the right to own those programs. In other words, I've got to be earning enough money to pay for them without having to put it on a credit card to be able to own it. If I see an offer that I really, really want, okay, have I earned the right? Nope. Okay, I'll get it next time. Here's another thing that hurts people from the expense category, and that's butterflies. I define a butterfly as one of those things that flies by and everyone looks and you're looking and the presenter is so excited and telling you about this new business opportunity, and you say, hey, it's different than what I do right now. I know nothing about it, but it might just be the solution. So you go and you lay down $2,000, and within a week, you know it's not right for you. But we keep doing this. So what we do is we're on this path, and this path could get us there. Will probably get us there, but we're not making the kind of money we need. And so then a butterfly comes by and we go, oh, I should be building a YouTube channel, or, oh, I should be running quizzes, or, oh, I should be running challenges, or, oh, I should be over and over and over again. We keep jumping on the latest butterfly that flaps by. And so we never actually get done what it is that we know already is the right path for us. That's deadly. Kills businesses. And then as you look at these things, recognize, because you're going to say, but I may need that someday, because I know I do that same thing. I look at it and I say, oh, I know I bought this tool because I'm going to use it someday. I just haven't done it yet, and I may need it someday, and it'll never be this cheap again. Well, remember this: every $100 that you don't spend every month is $1,200 you don't have to make that year to break even. Okay? So I'm so sorry, seriously, that I have to talk to you about this. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't see person after person after person dealing with this exact same problem. Okay, now, let me just bring up another key point. You can cut a lot of expenses, and I strongly encourage you to do so. But the real solution is to sell something. And those of you, so I started this whole thing by saying some people aren't constitutionally able to actually sell things. They have self-image issues. They have I'm not worth it issues. I can't sell issues. I don't want to ask someone to give me money issues. Those kinds of things. Literally, if you are unable to get past that point, this may not be the right business for you. And oftentimes the people who are making almost nothing and spending several $1,000s a month are in that very situation, that they're making choices, whether it's a conscious choice or not, they're making choices not to sell something. So you need to recognize this. Even if you don't hit a home run. So I'm going to do a launch and I hope I'm going to get $100,000 from this launch. Oh no, it's a failure. It only brought in $5,000. Well, guess what? That $5,000 at least helps you not to go in the hole by $5,000. That's a win. Plus, you learn, which will make it so that your next time will be more successful. So, hey, as we talk about this concept of bringing in cash, I also strongly encourage you not to get proud about the cash. So here's another thing that I see people deal with all the time. They say, I don't want to sell that because it won't scale. I only want to be like making money in my sleep. That's the only thing I want to target. And if I can't make that, I'm not willing to sell anything else. Well, guess what? That is a wonderful goal for down the road. But in the meantime, you've got to pay the mortgage. You got to put food on the table. You've got to not run up $30,000 in credit card bills. And so in the meantime, you've got to sell something. And it may not scale. And it probably is something where you're actually going to have to work to earn that money. The key is this: bring in cash. That's so often the solution to the issues that most people have when they struggle in this business. Bring in cash so that you and your business can survive. Now, I promised at the beginning that at the end, I was going to say something that is another solution rather than just quitting the business. And that's this. Some people should get a job sufficient to pay the bills and build the business of their dreams at nights and on weekends. That may be the solution for you if you're dealing with this, not making much and spending a lot more. Sometimes what we've got to do is figure out another way to bring in income, and that way of bringing income may involve go work for the man so that you can pay the bills, so that you can build your business of your dreams. I am so sorry if I dashed some hopes. I'm so sorry that I needed to even be blunt and have this conversation. It hurts my heart to see people spending their retirement savings year after year, running up $30,000 in credit card debt and trying to figure out how to do everything on the hope that someday they're going to come up with something that will suddenly bring in tons and tons of money. And I wanted to just be blunt and point out that this isn't right for everyone, and not everyone can do that. You need to make that analysis, because ultimately, if you're in that situation where your income is a fraction of your expenses, something's got to change. My invitation to you: what are you going to change? What are you going to make different so that your income and expenses are at least equal? If not, you're making a whole lot more than you're spending. You got to cut the expenses. You got to increase the income. And in order to build that income, you got to sell something. I strongly encourage you to figure that out. I'd love to have a conversation in the chat. And let's make this change for you so that you can start to have and build the business of your dreams, or at least the life of it. Even if you can't get to the business of your dreams because you decide this isn't right for you, let's build a life of your dreams. It just may involve getting there a different way. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.